Heidi ho, neighbors. So if you have noticed your baby or toddler's head has got flat spots, or maybe your pediatrician has examined, assessed, and said like baby will grow out of it, or on the other opposite end of the continuum, they have recommended a helmet, this live is for you. So last Saturday, I went with my sister, my mom, and 6 kiddos to the water park in Aberdeen, South Dakota, which I don't want to say it's a plug because it was entirely overwhelming and stressful taking 6 kids under the age of 4 to a water park. But of course, as a pediatric chiropractor, I am noticing all of these kids with their hair slicked down because it's wet, right? I'm noticing all these kids with their hair slicked down, and I'm looking at the shape of their heads. And if I was going to put a number to it, I'm going to say 80% of them I noticed different cranial asymmetries and imbalances. So with kiddos, a lot of our assessment with them is based off of observation and symmetry, and we're trained to look at things very objectively. So when I talk about babies having a misshapen head, it is not a dig, but we're literally looking at that as our window, our key point into nervous system health. So bottom line, our head is made up of like our cranial bones. We've got 8 cranial bones. Our face, there's 14 of those. And the way that these bones articulate allows for nerves coming directly off of the brainstem to travel through like different access points in those cranial bones. And these nerves travel directly from the brain to eyes, ears, jaw, face, tongue, and they allow for those different sensory functions and motor functions. They account for some of our most basic processes, but they also have huge fingers into breathing, into speech, into heart rate, into how we manage and handle stress, into swallowing. So these cranial bones are super important, especially in our kids, because during the first 2 years of our kid's life, that cerebellum is actually doubling in size. So there's 2 pivotal years where we really want to make sure that baby's brain is able to grow and develop without restriction, without complication. And when we're looking at kiddos, not only is the birth process extremely, I feel like the word traumatic birth has become more of a buzz the last, 5+ years, really for good point. Even like unmedicated vaginal births are wild freaking road. If you've given birth before, everything that you went through with your baby's head went through there, which like that cranial blowout is what we call it. When babies navigate the birth canal, those cranial bones overlap and squish, and then they exit the birth canal and those cranial bones go out like this. But then when you look at kids that are constantly falling, they're navigating gravity off of the back of the couch, off playground sets. There are numerous reasons or times when those kids are like face first. So after your kid's bath is one of the best times to assess like, hey, are there flat spots? Is baby's head nice and symmetric? Because that hair like can be very misleading, right? Like obviously, I've got a pretty streamlined example today. But something else that you can do at home, if you've got a soft-bodied tape measure, one they use for like a seamstress would use to measure your inseam or something like that. Take that tape measure. This is actually something we do during our new patient pediatric examinations and re-examinations. You take that tape measure. You're gonna start at the back of, we call it the EOP. What it is that knob on the back of your kid's head. This is just one of the ways that you could assess for this. So take the tape measure, start on the back of that EOP. You're going to wrap it around, and you're going to measure the left side, the circumference from the front to right between the eyebrows, right above there. And then you do the same. That knob on the back of the head all the way around the right, you're going to measure that circumference. If that is anything less than smack dab equal, there is work to be done with your kiddo's cranial bones, and a pediatric and prenatal chiropractor should 100% be on your family's care team. So if you have concerns, if you have questions, and I should say, because obviously the title of this video is Can a Helmet Be Avoided? There are situations where like those bones are fused and like more aggressive intervention is needed, like a helmet. But for a good majority of kiddos, we can avoid a helmet. We can ensure proper cranial bone movement, which will ensure, as we talked about, proper cerebellum growth, proper input from those cranial nerves, proper soft tissue development and engagement, since like we have soft tissue that supports cranial bones, supports the vertebrae, which articulate with the cranial bones. So if you have questions, have concerns, or are ready to schedule your kiddo's first appointment with us, message us on this page and we'll be in touch. See you guys soon.